What's up, guys? So, I had a couple thoughts. Everything that's been going on with my prep for my match against Aiden Finland. I'm pushing work capacity. I'm resting now. Last 2 weeks. 3 weeks off table time, basically. And 2 weeks of nothing. Should be good. But I'm looking forward to after the match. Good puppy. And I'm just thinking, I heard from Jim, I'll put his picture on here somewhere, Facebook. He was talking about, he does powerlifting. He's talking about how he just does his gym stuff. That's non-arm wrestling specific. And he just does table time for arm wrestling. And how he's way stronger that way on the table than he was when he did powerlifting, arm wrestling, lifts, and table time. And I think that that's probably a neurological thing, as well as just, how much work can you really recover from when you're doing 3 things versus 2. You might be overwhelmed. And it may not, that being overwhelmed may not manifest in the same way we think that it would, as it would for other things. Just not being able to do it, or not being able to handle it. So, I think I want to dabble in some of that, considering, I'm literally working out a full arm wrestling circuited style workout, progressively heavier, 3 times a day, 3 separate times. When I wake up, before and after dinner, and then body weight stuff, obviously. So I think I'm gonna have a one really hard leg day a week, one back day. I do some pulling things, some stuff for my back, and one shoulders. So I'm going to deal with shoulder health and posture on that day, as well as some overhead pressing. Other than that, it's going to be little things to help me with everyday life, like neck workouts or whatever, to prevent getting another head injury, strengthen myself. But other than that, for arm wrestling, I'm going to do 2 practices a week if I can. Time constrained, it wouldn't hurt to do 2. I could basically arm wrestle every day, no problem. That I think will change the healthier I am, because as my brain is connecting and my muscles and everything are firing like a normal person's would, I think I'll get ripped up. I'll get torn up worse in the practices, so I probably won't be able to maintain that in the future. Pulling every day, but 2 a week is no big deal with the pros and with my buddies, the amateurs. And then I'll do for arm wrestling, so 2 practices a week, and then just 1 circuit, like real early Saturday morning, late Sunday night. It's about a 2-hour long circuit just for blood flow. Yeah, that's my plan. That's what's going on in my head right now. Because I'm 20 now. I'll be 21 in July. I want to get as strong as I can in my 20s. And, nobody's dependent on me, really. At all. And I have time. And if I'm careful, I'll have the health to have the energy to support it. So, yeah, health first, but I want to try and see if I can get really healthy and then really strong. So we'll see what I can do. Obviously, I'll have left-handed matches coming up, and potentially a right-hand match, I suppose, down the line somewhere. We'll see how antsy Wyatt is if I win my match with Aiden. Or if I lose, I won't have to worry about it. But definitely, I'll have left-handed matches coming up. Yeah, so maybe I'll post an update to this afterwards to decide what I'm actually going to do. This is just as much for me as it is anyone else to remember what I'm thinking, and little moments of inspiration, right? But if I've been able to learn anything from the neurological side, there are phases. So if your priority, like me, because this is the only example I have, this is the only testing I've done, your priority is your right arm, and you only train that for years. After about 6 months, there's a blood flow redistribution. I don't want to call it a disorder, but asymmetry in the body, where even if you arm wrestle with both consistently in the same and equal amounts of time and intensity, the left will get pumped and just be done, and the pump won't leave, and the right will just keep going. And especially speaking of arm wrestling guys that are my level or slightly below, if that matters. And about a year in, it feels more permanent. And then about a year and 4 to 5 months, so like 16-18 months, the right arm that you've only trained, as opposed to the untrained left, table time for both, will just become its own thing. And it'll start to get, it'll start to gain size and strength. But the left tends to be more connected. And I've talked to a lot of people that don't have brain injuries, and their left arm, which they don't train, is much more connected. Doctors tell me that if you train one arm, both will get stronger. So then all that weight training is really just, the difference is a little bit of peak strength, sure, and then endurance. So having the muscles and all those tissues in your arm and your ligaments and everything used to getting flushed full of fluids, and so then it's used to getting the fluids out of your arm. So your conditioning, your endurance appears better on the table. What I noticed this most recently is, because coming into my prep for Aiden, I started training my left arm to help my right. I think I may have done a video on this already. I haven't posted it yet. If not, I'll cover that later. It's about why I started training my left. But what I did is I trained left, right, and then left again on every lift and every movement for every set for the same reps. So my left was just dead every day for like 6 days. And that was training at least, so usually twice a day for arm wrestling lifts, full body stuff, 4 days a week, and so I had 2 rest days. One of the rest days I did a max arm wrestling lifts, and I lowered the reps from 50 down to 20 and find out where, what the heaviest I can lift is. The rest of the time I was just working up to a comfortable weight. That left, right, left experiment with the weights, nothing changes with the table time. You can't. That made my right much better. There's a few other variables because I started doing some statics, but I what's the word? I spaced it out. So 1 week I would add in supination, which I'd never done. I tried it early on and was like, I don't feel this at all. Added in supination, that helped. That was good. That gave me a lot of side pressure. Kept doing that. Added in some arm statics, bent over, so that my forearm's parallel to the ground for the gravity to be right in various different positions, just moving around, keeping the arm at the same angle relative to itself when the ground's like that. And that helped a lot. And I did some variations of pronation, which were full range. And that helped my top roll, so I could actually finish in the top roll. So they were spaced out and therefore more scientific. And that's when I found that the one that was actually most worthwhile was first training your left to help strengthen your right, and the second most valuable was, I think, supination. So I've continued to do supination in my prep for Aiden, and I will continue to do it in all my circuits, probably forever, as long as I'm able to arm wrestle. So just want to get that out there. My plans for after my match with Aiden, win or lose, because I'm going to have to come off of this terribly hard work I've been doing for like 3 months, and I have been lifting with him in mind, just trying to figure out what I should do to prep for him for the full 7 months since he gave me the notice that he wanted to have a match. So yeah, it's been a good prep. I haven't had the match yet. I'm still I think it's a little over 2 weeks.